Hey, welcome back to the show. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour, and your place for news, talk, and information. This is your hometown station. All right. Look, at KHTS is here. Hopefully you can find news and information that you can use. I think it's a great place, a great resource. That's hometownstation.com. And you click on Total Financial Solutions. If you have a question, shoot it to us. That's how we get a lot of topics for our shows and comments and concerns, questions, things that matter. We can cover those right here on the air for you, and certainly either that or answer them directly to you. All right. Safety tips for travelers, things to watch out for, things to do so that you can still enjoy your trip. You know, how many times do people go through and they travel and they come home with, it was fun, but, or let me tell you what happened. And of the entire experience, whatever it might be that they did for ever how long, the bad thing is often the thing that sticks out.
Right.
And it's the crummy part of the trip, or at least the part that they remember and repeat often. So let's talk about a couple of things. Don't take every single credit card you own with you. No reason to do that.
Clearly not. I mean, and are you saying with you from your home if you're traveling abroad, or just from the hotel room?
I think both. I think take 2 or 3. So, you know, maybe 2 Visas, a MasterCard, an American Express or something.
Great.
And the reason is because you don't know what is the one that be acceptable, but have 1 or 2 that are going to be your key component. And here's why. You want to get points, right? You've heard us talk about this before. Points, miles, whatever it is that works for you. And use it. Just make sure you pay it off. That's part of the experience with a credit card, is to use it, because the merchant has to pay a fee to the credit card company. When you swipe that credit card, 1 or 2 or 3% or more has to go back to Visa, even if you pay it off the next day. It doesn't matter. And a per charge fee, like 25 cents, 50 cents, whatever that number is. So a per charge swipe and a percentage. So therefore, those dollars go poof. So the credit card companies are never wanting, haha, I got them. No, the merchant is the one that says, I'm going to transfer risk, so I'm not going to take your check. I'm going to put those dollars in my pocket right now, says the merchant, and for that, I'm going to take a little bit less. So they're in my account instantly. I don't have to wait. I don't have to worry about security or go to the bank or have somebody come in and steal my checks or my cash. You know, I'm okay. So there's some things that are beneficial to the merchant. It's a win-win for everybody, but just don't think that that you got those companies. No, the miles are part of it, or the points. Take 1 or 2, but here's why I say take 2 or 3 with you on your trip. Because if you use one at a rental car or a hotel, they lock up a certain dollar figure. And if you're going from hotel to hotel to hotel, they can lock up for 2, 3, 4 days after you leave a big dollar figure that you might be needing to charge and to spend when you are traveling and on your trip. So when you're doing that traveling and that trip could end up being something that you're like, oh, I got to check into the new hotel. Well, there's not enough on it to pay for the trip and to lock it up, because they have burned some of those dollars until the next time. Or if you drop off a rental car, it takes 2 or 3 days or more, and these are business days, for that to fall off your credit card.
Well, and I've heard you say this for years, Arif. It's to have 1 credit card or even 2 with enough of a limit to secure those rental cars, those hotel rooms. And then you have another one for your day-to-day spending where you're getting those points and those other attractive features. But to have them separated so that those big dollar amounts are not eating up the ones that are supposed to be for your daily budget. And then you have to kind of worry about that. So if you keep them separated, then you don't really have to worry
and
so much.
And prepay for as much as you can from here. The exchange rate and often the discount that you can get depending on where you're traveling to, you can receive a discount from here and not have to worry about taking that extra credit card or pay it off even before you go. And that gives you your ability to have some flexibility when you arrive. They might put something on for, incidentals, and that's just their way of saying if you steal the lamp or the blow dryer, we're going to fine you back.
And what would you say if someone is adamant about having a debit card, just for whatever reason? It's maybe a comfort feeling, something as an extra backup. What would you say about having a debit card with them for any type of use on a vacation?
Yeah, I'm all for that. But here's how you do it. You have a debit card with a separate account, not the one that receives your paycheck and where your bills are automatically paid out of. No. You have a debit account that is locked, I think, a completely separate institution. because institutions often merge things that they shouldn't. You don't know that until it's too late. So if you bank at a bank, then have a credit union or vice versa. And it's put money into that account, and you can transfer money into that account.
That's right.
You could be at the hotel, free Wi-Fi, and transfer money back into that account if you need to, but make sure it's a secured Wi-Fi. That gives you so that if they go through and they bust and they steal your pen and all the stuff, they only get what you put on that debit card for that week or that day, not your entire mortgage payment for next month or your savings or whatever it is.
Great point. And then with that, you also, and I think this is prudent, to call the institutions ahead of time, whether it's your credit card companies or your debit card companies, whether it's a bank or credit union, because what they do is you have a normal pattern of spending, and it's usually within a radius. Maybe you travel lightly here and there for business, but they basically have a profile on you and they look at where you're spending. If you spend outside of that radius or that normal habit, they can shut that card down.
That's right.
And so if that's one of your 2 cards that you brought with you, let's say you don't have the luxury of having multiple cards, now you've just basically cut your spending ability in half.
Let them know ahead of time. Give them a call. Let them know that you're going to be coming to Europe or China or Mexico or wherever you're going to be going, but from these dates. And they'll ask you, what cities will you be traveling to?
Yes.
And you'll say, oh, I'm going to go to this, this, and this, and this. They do that because if they see all of a sudden there's a gas station charge outside of that area or a big expense in another area, they can look for irregularities. Now, we have a particular company that we've worked with, a credit card company, and I can't tell you. We tell them, we call them again when we're there, and they still end up shutting it down, and we still have to sit there at the merchant, call the 800 number, tell them, nope, we are here doing this. Okay, fine. So sometimes you have those cards that it doesn't matter what you do, they're so hypersensitive that they inconvenience at the very least and really turn off customers that are legitimately trying to spend more money on their credit card. So there's going to be a few like that. Test them out. Take a couple, 2 or 3, especially if you're new to traveling and you're not sure which one you should use. I'd say get a couple of different ones. That really seems to be the ticket to. And then when you leave the hotel, don't take all of them with you. You take just 1 or 2 and a little bit of cash and what you think you're going to need, and I find something big. Fine, take the big credit card, but leave the others for the rest of your trip back at the hotel, locked in the safe. Look, I purposely do not have them come and clean my room. Now, I know it doesn't keep people out, but there's no legitimate reason for anybody to be in my room so that they can say, "Oh, I don't know what happened." No. We do not have cleaning service, or if we do it when we're there. I say, no problem. How hard is it for you to make your own bed? It's nice to come home to a bed being made, but I don't want somebody in my room for an hour and a half or 2 hours while I'm not there.
And you don't even know how long they're in there.
Yeah, no thank you. I have my own stuff. I'm not interested. So what I do is I say, look, hi, yeah, can you bring in extra towels or extra shampoo or whatever? Fine. Can they come and just do, if you're going to be there, let's say for a week, come in and clean up? Fine, that's fine. You can sit there and work on the computer or watch TV or do something while they are in your room, and you make sure that do not disturb sign is on every other time. And I even tell the staff ahead of time, I say, you don't need to clean room 102 for the entire duration. I'll be here for 4 days or something. No reason for them to do that. Now, it's a personal preference, but maybe I'm a little paranoid. It's my thing.
And what about taking a lot of cash with us? I know that people want to have cash when they're maybe walking around in the streets of a foreign city and they want to go and shop the local shops and buy little trinkets here and there. They don't really want to contend with having an ATM transaction in an unfamiliar territory, but they also don't want to leave a bunch of cash in the hotel room, and they also don't want to keep a bunch on them.
Yeah, take some cash with you, no question about that. American currency, especially if you're traveling abroad, because it's still pretty valuable. The other part of it, though, that works, I think, in your favor is using the ATM machine inside the airport. Usually it's inside baggage claim. That means that you're inside the airport, you're in baggage claim. You're going to always see an ATM that is right there. That gives the chance for you to get the best rates. It's a legitimate ATM. Whenever you use one outside of the hotel or the airport, then it should be at the hotel. And often they don't have ATM machines at the hotel. You have to go to the counter and trade your $100 bills or $50 bills or whatever you're taking with you into local currency, and they usually have pretty good exchange rates. Some countries do not allow you to take currency with you from here to there. So you're going to have to be very careful about that.
And what about if you're driving around? Let's say, and I know it's pretty easy to do, to just be in one country, and in a couple hours of driving, or even less in some cases, you're driving into another country and you're doing some shopping and you're maybe out for the day. And I know we've talked about this when it comes to holiday shopping, about leaving things in your cars for people to see. A rental car, whether you're in another state or another country, that's no different, right? When we have things that we're collecting throughout the trip, leaving those in plain sight, I mean, it sounds like it's a pretty obvious point, but leaving things in the car, period, I would say is a no-no.
Yeah, you don't want to. Now, the hardest part, look, is you're going to be traveling, and you're going to want, hopefully, buy nice things and enjoy the trip and take back things that remind you of the trip. Here's my recommendation. If you're going to take those items and you're going to put them in the trunk, let's say, do not put them in the trunk at the same place that you stop your car. It takes a 50-cent screwdriver for me or anybody else to pump it in the back of your rental car lock and turn it, and it becomes its new key, and poof, I am now in your car.
Or bust the window, go in the glove box.
Yeah, super
push
easy,
the button.
guys.
Right.
So take it, hide it in your trunk, then go to your next place. So when you get out, you're not getting out and putting things in your trunk. Look, we tell you this when you're shopping. When you're shopping, especially at Christmas and the holiday time, people will go to the beach, right, or whatever they're going to do. When I was a policeman down in West LA, what these guys up and down Temescal Canyon, and they still do it today, just so you know, there's homeless people that are up in the bushes. And many of them are not the most honest, honorable people. Surprise, right? They're drink alcoholics and drug addicts, many of them, right? How many of you want to be homeless for free, right? You wouldn't.
No.
So there's many other reasons that people are on the street, and some of them are addiction, and sometimes it means they need money. So what they do is they watch you park on the street in Temescal Canyon. You got to walk a quarter mile down to the beach. So you open the trunk and you put your purse, and the guys put their wallet, their camera, and they take out the beach chairs, and then they close it. Before your fanny is at PCH, they have come down from the sides of the bushes, because that's what they're doing. They watch you. They use a little screwdriver. They pop your trunk, or they take a brick and throw it through your window. They open the trunk from inside, and they take your purse and your wallet and your camera. That's what they do. We work many undercover stuff. That's how we catch them. So they know that. So don't do that. If you're going to put your stuff in your trunk, you do it outside. Do it, a mile away, 2 miles away. So then when you get there, you just close the trunk, get out, or you close the door, get out, walk with the beach bag, and they think you took your valuables with yourself. So much smarter way of going, in my opinion.
That's pretty incredible. I mean, you don't even think about those types of things where you may have local people, whether you're traveling not too far from home or you're really far from home, people are watching you because this is what they do. You have to be reminded of that.
Yes.
I think every now and again, especially when it comes to, collecting valuables over the course of a trip.
Yeah, and their job is to steal from you, right? That's their job. Their job is to make sure that you are not somebody who has something that they want and then they don't get it from you. So, okay, here's a couple others that I want you to watch out for. When we say watching out for bogus ATMs, remember this. In banks and ATMs, in a lot of places, they have these rooms, and you go into a room. It's like being in a little vault, and you have to close one door and then another door, and then now you go into the ATM, so you're left alone. You can take your money out and then walk out. And I always think that's so funny. So what happens as soon as you close and you leave that second door?
Right.
Like, really, they're not going to be able to hold a gun to your head or steal your money, and then now they go in the room? So, I don't know. I guess it's designed to make you feel a little bit better, but the point is you're still going to end up, if you're going to get robbed, it's at the same place. You spend as little time as possible around the ATM. Don't count your money there. Even if it's off, so what? What are you going to do?
Right.
There's nothing you can do. You grab your money, you grab your receipt, and you leave. And then you keep your eye open to see if anybody's following you. That's important. And as long as you don't have any problems like that, then you're okay. So don't just sit there and meander around the same ATM and people come up and make you take money out. You'll also see when we talk about your rental car, people treat their rental car, especially have it for many days or maybe weeks, and you're driving up the coast of someplace, and they treat their rental car as if it's theirs. Well, that's nice, but you may have left receipts in the car. You may have left certainly items that are important to you, right, in your family, chargers, everything that you can think of. And they are left in the car, and then you turn it in. I have gone numerous times to go get a rental car, and I always go through and I look at it, the whole outside of the car, and I'll give you something to do in a second. But by opening the inside of the glove box or in between the seats, and there's somebody's rental car agreement with their address, the dates that they're there, when they're gone, and da-da-da, you don't think a bad guy goes, oh, great, they're going to be here for this long? Or here's their credit card number, or here's what they used, or here's where their home is and their name and everything about you. So take that take that rental car agreement with you. Shred it when you get home, no problem. But do not leave it in the car. And don't leave receipts in the car. And don't leave anything of value that has your name and address or your social security number, receipts from the grocery store, right? That's a big, big deal.
Well, it makes sense, but those are obvious things to a lot of people. But I can't tell you how many times something didn't really matter and I didn't want to leave it wherever I was. You crumble it up and you leave it in the car. You're going to pick it up later. You're going to throw it away later. And maybe you miss it. Maybe you forgot. And then there it is for somebody else.
So we keep a bag in the car that's designed for trash. And it's our own stuff and it's our own trash. And it's something that you take with you and you keep it. And then you later dispose of it where you need to. So you're not going to have it sitting around in different places. Okay, also I want to tell you this on a rental car. If you're going to rent a car, my opinion is, because I almost got hit with this, where I turned in a car and they said, oh my gosh, the windshield is all chipped. I go, no, it's not. Oh yeah, it's chipped. You're going to have to give us $300 or something. I'm like, I'm not going to give you $300. What do you mean? And these rental car companies are not the most honest. You know, some of them, look, you feel kind of yucky by the time you're done, and they're trying to sell you upgrades of this and upgrades of that. And so sometimes just be very careful. I don't always like these folks. They're the way they do business. It's a little bit on the sneaky side.
But the walk around's important.
Not only do you walk around, but you take a video of it. And you talk. And you use your finger to point out things. See the scratch here. See the dent over here. Okay, over here on the door. Over here on the front. If there's a chip in the windshield. Because here's what happened. It was actually sap. Sap from a tree, and it looked like a crack. And so if it wasn't for me going up, they were ready to write it up. I go, no, look. And I went through and, you know, of course, use your fingernail. And you're like, oh, my gosh, this is actually sap.
Wow.
I'm going to give you $300 to clean a window of sap. So very simple. So they stopped, and of course, I didn't have to pay it. But I thought, oh, my gosh, I'm going to have to remember. So walk around with the video and then email the video back to yourself so there's a time and a date stamp. You get in the car, take a look at the mileage, take a look at how much gas is in the car so they can't tell you if it was 3/4 full that you have to return it with a full tank. Right. Go, wait a second, I just have to return what I used. So that's a way for you to be careful so that you don't overdo it. All right, that's important. And then as you go around, if there's interior damage, exterior damage, verbalize it. So, okay, over here is a scratch, or over here the inside has a knob that's missing or whatever it is. And then email it to yourself. And keep it for a little while until the credit card receipts goes through and until, there's a normal cycle or sequence of events. Bing! You don't have to worry about it. Delete it. But now it's stuck in your email forever because you're going to want to archive your emails forever, unlike Hillary Clinton that can destroy 30,000 emails. You and I can't, even if we wanted to. And it's so fun. I heard this. Sorry, I know this is going to get political for just a second. I heard the other day how she was like, I was emailing. So those are my personal emails. I was emailing Bill and about our personal life. And so I don't want the American people to see that. And then they interviewed Bill like the next day, not knowing it. And they talked to him in this big group. He's like, I've never sent an email in my life. I don't really like email. I just don't use it. I don't understand it. Never sent one in my life. And so they're like, didn't you just say that? She's like, oops, what I meant was.
What I meant was.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
And what about, I think that's a lot of the great tips there. What about when someone's coming back now and they're going to basically prepare to depart from, whether it's another country, another state, whatever have you? Should there be a checklist or things that you do or mentally do before you come back home to kind of reconcile the trip?
Well, you always want to go through while you're at the hotel or the place where you are, and just go through and make sure that the charges are accurate. So if there's anything that is not accurate, you can dispute it while you're there. And look, Europe is different, especially Europe. I don't know why I'm thinking about that at the time. I guess just is on my mind, but their hotel rooms, They send somebody up to your hotel room while you're still checking out to make sure the lamp is there and the hair dryer and the robe and the things that are supposed to be there. Apparently, people steal all sorts of things. And we were on a trip once with a group, and somebody had actually stolen a bedspread.
Oh.
Yeah. And they put that, it was in Paris, I want to say, outside of Paris, France somewhere. And they stole the bedspread and they put it in their luggage. And it was a group tour, and we were on the bus, and somebody came out and they said, "Hey, did somebody take out a bedspread? Please return it. We know it was probably done accidentally," and da-da-da. So nobody said anything. Look, folks, do you not understand? They have the room number. They know your name.
Right.
Your name is on the luggage. They're giving you a chance. So everybody's like, this is weird. Who would ever steal a bedspread? And this person was a millionaire. We knew that. They're very wealthy. And so they said, all right, you get another chance. So they did this a couple of times. And then they said, all right, pull all the luggage out. Find this one. Zip, zip, zip. Boom. There it is. Kicked them off. They had to find their own way. They left the trip. They were removed and had to go back home or find another way. They had to pay for the rest of their trip completely separately. So they're very cautious about, and it's the same thing in China. When you travel to Asia, they watch your the items that you take. If you don't take things. You could buy stuff. You could say, hey, I really like this lamp. How much is it? Or can I have a robe? Yeah. How much is it? $50. I'll take it or don't. They'll give you a new one, a fresh one that nobody's worn. So wouldn't that be nicer?
How about the shampoo? Can I take
You
that?
can take the shampoo. Usually there's not a whole lot of shampoo in Asia, but for some reason they don't give you a lot of free stuff like that. Some hotels they do, Western hotels, but
So it sounds like it makes sense every day during your trip, at the end of your day when you come back to your hotel room, to go and at least go online and take a look at your charges to see if there's anything out there that's not part of what you were doing that day.
Yeah, and you're going to go through and say, hey, are these things mine or not mine? And it gives you a chance to confront them directly. I mean, sometimes they're honest mistakes. I don't think it's, probably more often than not, it's just a mistake or somebody swiped it twice because they didn't think it went through the second time. And companies usually catch that if it's the same number and it's twice, that they watch it and kind of try to figure it out. So go through that checklist before you leave the country, before you leave. Make sure you take another video of the car when you check it in, the video of the miles, the gas, video of the outside of the car. Look to see if there's anything different you didn't know. Sometimes things happen in parking lots and when you're not even aware. So make sure that you video it and then you send an email to yourself again. So you have a start and an end. It locks down the date. I get the name of the person who you checked the car into, who you gave the keys to. Because that's another favorite thing that they like to charge you for is an extra set of keys because they think you stole the keys. And somehow those costs are hundreds of dollars more than the actual keys cost. So be very careful when you're trying to do that. The last thing before we take a quick break is remember this. When you're going through wherever you're traveling to, plan out the trip a little bit. You don't have to, you can be a bit more spontaneous, but plan it out a little bit so you don't end up in the wrong neighborhoods or the wrong hotels or the wrong bars or the wrong restaurants. Have a little bit of fun, of course, but neighborhoods and directions and things to look out for and always this and never that. Those outliers are the things you want to know. Have some fun in the middle, I get it. But do not just hit the ground random with a backpack. Now they say, Arif, you're taking away the most fun. I get it. And in some places it's still the culture, and I understand that. But just realize that you are walking around, with you're swimming with sharks with the bloody finger. Okay, listen, you can swim from here to there, and you can be all right if the shark isn't there, or if he's too far away and you get out of the water before it's too late. You win, or you don't win. Right? There's lots of fish in the sea. Every once in a while, one of them gets eaten. The shark never goes hungry. So don't be his meal. We'll be back in just a minute. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. I'm Arif Halaby, that's Chef Girard, special edition. Travel and tips, things to watch out for if you're out and about. How to have an amazing and I think an enjoyable summer. Watch out for a few things when we come back. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. This is your hometown station, KHTS. Hey, we're back. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour. Thanks for staying with us as we finish up this hour of the program. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Jeff Girard. We're talking about your family's finances, specifically if you're going to be traveling. That is your thing to do, if that's part of your adventure. Or if your young person is going to be traveling this summer by themselves or with friends, make sure they follow some simple rules. And you can always send us an email. If you go to TFS Wealth, stands for Total Financial Solutions, but TFSwealth.com. Send us an email. We'll send you our list and some recommendations and things to watch out for. And we may even have another article I've written, I think, on that archive somewhere. So we'll send that to you as well. Okay. International driving permit, often thought of as an international driver's license. It's a driving permit. What that means is your personal driver's license from your home state, country, and this international driving permit allows you to drive in most countries. Now, some countries don't accept it, some don't care, but if you're going to rent a car, many rental car agencies will say, well, that's fine, you have to have an international driving permit. And it has the languages translated into, I think, 10 different languages, so it gives you the opportunity to go wherever you go. It's translated so you can rent a car. But you have to know the laws. It was bad enough when people used to go from California over to Nevada or Arizona, and then they would do the California right turn, right? You supposedly stop. And then if the right light is red but nobody's coming, you could make a right turn. Well, it's still a red light in many states. Not anymore. Most of them have changed the laws similar to California. But it used to be that that's a red light. Might as well go through a red light. So that is just in the United States that there was that much of a variance. So how much more might there be in some countries? Now, international signage, whether it's a yield sign or a stop sign, those are internationally understood. They're going to be in different languages, even in Arabic or German, but you got the idea. It's international. It's the same.
Hopefully the colors are the same.
They are. The shape and colors are mostly the same.
Okay, so you're saying I've got a chance.
Well, what I don't like, and I don't understand, especially in some of the European cultures where they have crosswalks and then they have zigzag lines and then they have zigzag up here, and and you're not sure what that means. Can I park? Can I not park? What does red mean? Red usually means no parking, but yellow or green so I don't always understand that. That's something, and I don't rent cars often when I go. I just will hire, especially these days, guys. You get the Uber and the Lyft, right? We've got a Lyft that I took recently. Everything went great. We started with the Uber in the sense that we turned it on, and they sent a little car, and we didn't like the little car. They didn't even send it. We just looked and it popped up. We said, we don't want that little car. Cancel. We tried again, didn't like that. So finally we just said, let me try Lyft on my phone, right? So literally it was not 30 seconds to a minute on the Uber, right? It wasn't, the guy probably didn't even start his car, wasn't even driving this direction. And we found out last night that both of those two Uber drivers charged our credit card.
Oh.
Yeah, $70 was one and $40 was the other.
Oh.
So that's being disputed as we speak. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on that, see if Uber does right. The Lyft, yeah, we paid for that. That's not a problem. But the Uber was not a fun experience. We'll see how that works. So, but in most countries, you can do that, and it's very safe. There's some level of, you still have to be cautious. Before you get into a taxi or an Uber of any sort, when you open the car and you sit down, you always check that there's an interior door handle and that it works, and that there's a lock that goes up and down that you can put your finger on. So even if they can lock it electronically from the front, you can still put your finger on it and pull it up, and there's not a child lock system set on it. So that if you need to get out, if there's a problem, you can get out. Some taxis change their system so they lock you in until you pay. I don't like that. I say, no, thank you. I'll find another cab. Look, they have cameras on you. They audio tape. They videotape everything that you say and do. And now you're going to still lock my fanny in this car? No, thank you. All right, if I need to get out, that's not safe. So,
I think it makes sense too when you're looking at the transaction that's involved. Cabs, you're going to have a lot of cash transactions, right? And with an Uber or Lyft scenario, you can do that without ever having to exchange cash. I think that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, and you can win on the exchange rate. Before you leave, check the exchange rate that is on, if you're going to a foreign country, on the computer. It'll tell you what the exchange rate is. Then check what your credit card exchange rate is. And because when you travel, you will find out if one of those is better than another. It made sense sometimes for us to use our credit card because we came ahead about 3 or 4% every single time. And that worked great.
Nice.
So check the exchange rate before you go. If you find that it's against you, then negotiate that ahead of time and say, hey, listen, the exchange rate is not in our favor, so I'm not going to pay you this. I'll pay you that. Nope. Okay, fine, then pay cash. So know that. You can get cash at the hotels. You can get cash at banks, walk into banks. Most countries will not allow you to walk into a bank with a baseball cap of any sort, any hat, or sunglasses. So if you're somebody like me, just let your hair get a little messy and you wear a hat, you're going to have to take that hat off and walk into the bank and the sunglasses. And the security guard there who's loaded and armed will make sure you know to stop and take it off.
Wow.
Yeah, some banks in California are starting to do that, but not always.
I think it's hard enough to ID people as it is, and then you add that extra stuff. And
Yeah.
plus, you want people comfortable, too. That's another thing.
Gives a little edge to them as well.
Sure.
Okay, couple of last thing. Before you leave, make copies of your passport. Leave one set of copies here and take one with you and keep it in a different set of luggage and bags or wherever from your original documents. Your original documents should stay on your person your whole time. Front pocket, interior pocket, one of those necklace wallet things. But you leave a copy here in case there's a problem. People here have your information, your passport identification, etc. Also leave, and this sounds a bit morbid, but have a trust or a will document that's left behind. If something happens to you, you want to have, people know what you want and what you're supposed to do and who's going to get your stuff and all that. It's very important that you leave that behind. And then finally, major purchases. If you're going to be buying things, we were in Morocco with a group on a group trip, and one of the group guys bought a very expensive Moroccan rug. He knew what he was buying. It was very fancy, and it was $5,000, a lot of money.
Wow.
And he paid for it to be shipped. And when he received it, it was a completely different cheap rug.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And he challenged it with and he took pictures before he brought it home. And then he challenged it with this credit card company, and they reversed it. So major purchases, credit cards where you have some options. Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Arif Halaby, and that's Jeff Girard. Those are some of our travel tips to stay safe this summer. Keep yourself out of debt, hopefully, so when you come back, you pay it off, at least within a month or two, so you don't have to carry that vacation debt long after the memories are starting to fade. Thanks for joining us. This is your hometown station. You can go to hometownstation.com. I'm Arif Halaby, Jeff Girard, on your place for news, talk, and information. Total Financial Solutions, Safer Money Hour.